Hello and welcome to day 27 of 40 Seconds for 40 Days. We are here sitting now on Erev Shabbos before the last Shabbos of the year, 4 days before Rosh Hashanah is upon us. There's a story that I just read that I find to be incredibly meaningful and powerful that I want to share with you that perhaps can give us some perspective as we enter into this last Shabbos of the year and then, God willing, very soon into the new year. There's a story that's told of a certain chassid that he was building himself up. He was trying to get better, trying to improve himself, and he went to go see the Chuzeh of Lublin, the very famous seer of Lublin. And he said to him, Rebbe, I can deal with the fact that there are some major nisyonos in life, there are some major challenges that I might have, some difficulties, etc. But what I cannot stand is that there are regular day in, day out challenges that I experience, small little things that are not the biggest deals in the world per se, but what they do is that they distract me from serving God. And he says to the Chuzeh of Lublin, I can't serve God properly. My tefillah is not as meaningful. My prayer is not as involved. My learning is less. All of these various acts of mitzvos that I would like to be involved in are not as qualitatively and not as quantitatively there because I just can't bring myself to fully focus on them because of the challenges that I face. Again, not the major challenges, that's one category, but the small little things that make life difficult. Those things are very hard for me to move past so that I can serve God properly. Please, Rebbe, he said, can you put a prayer up to heaven that I shouldn't have to struggle with the day in and day out small little things? And the Chuzeh of Lublin turned to him and he said, if you are not able to learn all day long, and if you are not able to have the most intense kavanah, the most intense intention when you are davening to Hashem on a regular basis, then if you are genuinely trying your hardest, if you are pushing yourself to a limit where you feel like you cannot be pushed any further, not that you're killing yourself, but that you're doing the best you can, then if that's the case, then he says perhaps what Hashem wants from you right now is not to spend all day learning, is not to spend all day involved in mitzvos, is not to spend all and every second of your tefillah being perfectly connected and attached to the prayers that you say. But perhaps, he said, the avoda, the work that you're supposed to be doing right now, is what he called pizor hanefesh, to be a little bit distracted, to maybe be a little bit confused, to not feel like you understand everything in life, to not feel like everything makes sense and fits into place perfectly. So often we believe that if only we had X, if only we had Y, if only we had Z, everything would fall into place, everything would be perfect, everything would be great, and then I can start my life. But says the Chuzeh of Lublin, sometimes things are difficult, sometimes majorly, and sometimes mildly. Sometimes just annoying or difficult enough that it's hard for me to focus, hard for me to learn, hard for me to daven, hard for me to do acts of kindness. You fill in the blank, it's hard for me to do it. But says the Chuzeh of Lublin, sometimes we have to realize that if we are not really able to do something, if we are genuinely trying, which most, if not all of us really are, genuinely trying, then if we can't do something, if we can't accomplish something, if we can't live up to a certain standard that we made for ourselves, then perhaps that's not exactly what Hashem wants from us right now in that moment. Perhaps our avoda is to be able to grapple with some of the difficulties that we're facing and recognize that we still have a Father in heaven who we have to turn to, who we have to ask from, who we have to love, connect to, and fear, who we have to view as our Avinu Malkinu, our Father and our King. Hashem should give us the blessing and the ability that going into this last Shabbos of the year and into the year 5782, to realize that sometimes our avoda in life has to be 24 hours a day learning, maybe really intense tefillah, but sometimes it's about learning to live with some confusion, some difficulty, not major difficulties, but the small ins and outs that can make life hard. Sometimes it is about living with those small little things. everyone should have a beautiful final Shabbos of the year.